It's a great pleasure to be here. I had come to actually listen to the Honorable Minister on all the unique work he's done in the field of education and skill. So let me be very brief and let me say that we are the largest and the fastest growing large economy in the world. We are the fifth largest. Our aim is that by 27, we should become the third largest economy in the world. And now that Japan and UK and Germany are all in recession phase, we should be able to do it much quicker and much faster. And but the Prime Minister's vision is that we should look beyond just the immediate and look at, by the time we become 100 in 2047, where will India be? And it's important to be ambitious, to make India grow at rapid rates and be a $35 trillion economy by the time we become 100. And this would mean that India needs to use the compounding power of growth, of growing at higher rates of 9 to 10% per annum, year after year, year after year, year after year, for 3 decades or more. And this in the past has been done by many countries. It has been done by Japan post World War II, it has been done by Korea, it has been done by Taiwan. It was, in recent times, China has done it at a scorching pace for over 2.5 decades. And therefore, my view is that this is a doable proposition. We've come a long way from the time when we had twin balance sheet problems of both corporate balance sheet and the bank balance sheet being impacted, when we had twin deficits of both fiscal deficit and current account deficits were all a challenge. And since this government came in 2014, it has carried out several structural reforms. The goods and services tax, which is like putting one tax across entire Europe, which is cashless and paperless. So one tax replacing 28 taxes and several cesses in a large country like India, which is totally digital, and the total number of GST taxpayers has gone up from about 6.63 to about 14.8 million. We've seen a modern bankruptcy law coming in. We've seen the Real Estate Regulation Act, which has benefited a large number of the middle class families in India. We've seen the corporate taxes being reduced radically to global benchmark levels, which has improved the balance sheet of companies. So, in addition to structural reforms, there have been vast number of reforms as far as digitization of India is concerned. And not merely that all of us have a digital identity, but between 2015 to 2017, the country opened up 500 million bank accounts. It then converged and integrated both the digital identity and the mobile number with the bank account, and that led to digital fast payments. And today, India does about 46% of the real-time fast payments in the world. About 120, last year we've done 126 billion fast payments. The second was China with about 25 billion fast payments. So that is the difference between what India has done and what China has done. But it has also led, the fast payments has also led to a number of our young startups actually doing cashless, paperless credit. And this has another set of startups actually then went on to do wealth creation and took the stock market into tier 2, tier 3 cities and rural areas. Zerodha, Grow, Upstock all became unicorns on the back of this. And then we have another set of startups like GoDigit and Acco, which are today providing insurance on the back of mobile telephony. So what has happened in the last few years is that we do a digital transaction in 30 seconds, we do wealth creation in 45 seconds, we do an insurance policy in 1 minute. and the cost of acquisition of a customer has fallen radically. If you look at USA, it's about $100 for acquisition of customers through a lot of paperwork. In India, we are able to do it in less than $1 by just using biometric. And that is why India has technologically leapfrogged, and it enabled us during COVID period to put money back, put large sums of money straight into the bank account of beneficiaries, of women, of farmers. In contrast, in United States, 9 million accounts to which money was sent came back, and in Germany, it took them 18 months to get their identity fixed. So what India has done is hugely technologically leapfrogged in many ways. We built up this public interest layer on top of which private sector competes, and this is all open source, open API. It's globally interoperable. So our UPI now operates out of almost 18, 19 countries, from France to Singapore, etc. And now we are integrating DPI with artificial intelligence and generative AI. So Jugalbandi app enables a person living in a rural area, in a far-flung area, say an aspirational district of Namsai in Arunachal Pradesh, can do voice, have access to all central and state schemes through voice, fill up the form through voice, and get access and get sanctions of all government schemes just using voice. So large language models enabling India to use the power of artificial intelligence. So unlike the West, where all innovation came from Google, Facebook, Amazon, and Meta and Apple, and they controlled the mobile operating system, cloud, just about everything. And in China, in the case of Tencent and Alibaba, India has demonstrated the power of a public interest digital public infrastructure. And during G20, the world accepted that for the world to progress, this digital public infrastructure is the way forward. Today in the world, there are 4 billion people who do not have a digital identity. There are 2 billion people who do not even have a bank account, and 133 countries do not have a fast payment. India will use this to push the digital public infrastructure in many of the global south countries to enable them to leapfrog. And the third big thing which has happened in India is that not merely have we gone digital in a big way, but we've pushed the limits on green growth. We've built up about 185 gigawatt of renewable energy. We have been able to provide almost 300 million people of our women cooking gas at their household, at the house level, replacing firewood, which was done under the leadership of our minister when he was petroleum minister. We've transformed their lives, and we are now moving to use the power of renewable to crack water and produce green hydrogen, and with the aim of making India the cheapest producer of green hydrogen to replace. Today we import $180 billion worth of fossil fuel, and our aim is that by 2047 we should be an exporter of energy, of clean energy, to the rest of the world. So aim will be to become the cheapest producer, the cheapest exporter of green hydrogen and in its liquid form ammonia, and to be the biggest manufacturer of electrolyzer. So ladies and gentlemen, the future lies in going digital, it lies in going green, and it lies in several new areas of growth. We've opened up geospatial areas. We've opened up, the Prime Minister's opened up drones, he's opened up robotics, he's opened up a whole range of new areas. The space sector, all these areas have been opened up for the private sector, so that India can get into all the sunrise areas of growth, from battery manufacturing to electric vehicle manufacturing to green hydrogen to using the power of data for artificial intelligence, machine learning, to space, drones, robotics. All these areas have been opened up so that the private sector can really technologically leapfrog. And my belief is that India has to grow at rates of 9 to 10% for 3-decade period. Government at best can be just a facilitator and a catalyst, and the private sector will have to lead in many, many areas. And therefore, the new educational policy, which has been enunciated by the government, which was really path-breaking to my mind, it'll lay the foundation of improving our learning outcomes. And I think, to my mind, in the years to come, the country will grow on the back of sustainable urbanization, of enhanced agriculture productivity, of increasing and expanding our exports, and building a very innovative, dynamic, and a very sustainable India on the back of a young India where our demographic age will be just about 29, 30. And therefore, a young India with a positive, constructive, forward-looking mind will really leapfrog and become a $35 trillion economy by the time we turn 100 in 2047. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.